Hi, welcome to my sewing room. I'm going to show you some of the quilts I've made over the years. This one is a poppy quilt that I made as a wedding gift. I made the background, thought it was a bit bland, so I added the poppies. This was a block of the month. You make a different block every month, and my daughter claimed it. It's hand quilted. I love this bunny baby quilt. It's really cute. This is my design called Beyond the Brick Wall. All the ivy leaves are hand stitched down one by one. The Mariner's Compass is a challenging quilt for a quilter, but it's beautiful. I designed this one when I was going through a tough period in my life. This wall hanging hangs in my neighbor's entranceway now. Here, Fishy Fishy was a challenge because a friend sent me the beautiful fabric to see what I could do with it. This lovely quilt ended up being a wedding present for an old friend of mine. Sunflowers and bumblebees. I appliqued the bumblebees one by one on them. This was a mystery quilt. We make a different block every month and we don't know what it's going to look like until it's finished. This was a challenge from my guild, which was turning 10 years old. Quilt 10 things. 10 fabric, 10 threads. Turned out quite well. Butterflies in Motion. It was a kit but with a twist and it's hand quilted. It hangs in my hallway now. Friendship rings. My daughter gave me this beautiful, colorful fabric, and I didn't know what to do with it until I found this design, this pattern. Turned out really well. I made this so that it looks like I'm looking out the window. My design as well. This was a one block wonder design. I made this quilt for Quilt Maker magazine. They provided the fabric, I made it, and they photographed it. This was made with the leftover fabric from the butterfly quilt. I always said I would never make a sampler because I didn't like them, but this is one of the first quilts I made. It's really beautiful. I really like it a lot. Another quilt challenge, we had to do a self-portrait and then bring them to the meeting, and people had to guess who each portrait was of. This spinning wheels quilt is, again, another favorite. I love how the wheels look like they're in motion. Another baby quilt for a friend's daughter. Sailing. This one really made me feel like I was out on the sea or lake. For my daughter's boyfriend, with pictures of his cat, Floyd. Very musical quilt. This one is for my bed. I have a king-size bed and I finally made a quilt for it. It's called Trip Around the World, the pattern. This one, the design is more the actual quilting and it's called Flying Geese. This one was for my best friend when she turned 60. Another one of my favorites, it was a paper pieced pattern. I designed this lotus quilt for a friend who is really into yoga. This was another challenge. We had to do something on the theme of refresh. Everybody used the same fabrics. A dollhouse quilt for a friend's daughter, for a friend's granddaughter, excuse me. This I made for a midwife in St. Louis. This was one of the first quilts I made over 30 years ago, all hand appliqued and hand quilted. One of my absolute favorites, New York City taxi cabs. The brake lights and the headlights are beads. Taxi. Another baby quilt. I designed this one for my oldest son, and I called it Illusions. This was taken from a sketch that an artist friend put on Facebook, and I translated into Urban Sunset. I mean, a more modern quilt. And I bought this pattern when I was in Amsterdam, and it hangs in my front room now. Thank you for visiting and taking a peek at a few of my quilts. I hope you enjoyed it.